Hello and welcome. This is Grant Hughes of Grant Hughes Investigates on YouTube. This channel evaluates all aspects of true crime. As you are aware, videos and live streams in this genre often discuss elements of crime that may be disturbing to some viewers. If necessary, take the precautions needed to avoid these feelings. Factual information related to cases is the key to fostering rational true crime discussions. Fortunately, you will find that here. Please hit the like button only once, share the video, and subscribe if you like my content. Thank you very much for watching.
Correct.
Huh? It's the house!
Come on, man. What's wrong with you? You know, that's just one step above stupid. 5 brain cells, 4 aren't working. There's mosquitoes the size of bald eagles in that dadgum swamp.
Hello everybody, what's going on? Hello, crying QQQQQ. Hey, thanks guys. Hey, we actually started the show off with challenging freaks to match my wave. That's what Sandy Shirley said. Great deserves to a good showing. Let's surf. And then Wendy Woobles. And then Timothy Cecil said, look, I can finally donate again. Hey, cool. Well, thank you. Yeah, we had a good month last month. We donated, you know, from the ad revenue and everything, the extra, we were able to donate $4,000 to various true crime. Yeah, we had, well, this month we gave a 500 to, I think it was like Ethan Smile or the other charity. Then we gave 500 to RAIN, which is Violence Against Women, and then we gave 1,000 to our scholarship fund. Now we're at 6,000. Now that one's going to be opened up for 3 $2,000 scholarships to be given out. And then we have also we gave 2,000 to our DNA fund to, you know, because there's some expensive costs coming up because the DNA had bacteria in it. So then there's something called enrichment that you have to do, and that costs extra. So there you go. All right, awesome. So we're just starting off a new month here. Trying to get the support from the people that watch the channel on a nightly basis. And that was cool. What are some Kohberger's YouTube content creators that you think we should... All of them. Every one of them. Anybody that was selling you that Kohberger was innocent is somebody you want to stay away from. Because they're either stupid or they are very nefarious, that they were tricking all of you to watch for views and clicks. Okay, so there's no good option for them. They're either stupid or they were tricking you on purpose because they wanted to get views. Because there isn't anybody with a rational brain that would have believed that Kohberger wasn't the killer. I mean, it was just so clear from the get-go. Yeah, so anyways, the Manhunt's really kind of heating up right now for Drummond out there. He ditched that car. You know, maybe we'll go over that first, and then maybe circle back to that even later, and we can listen to some scanner audio, see what's going on. If you guys hear anything in the meantime, just send an email out. I mean, there's even some information on the Brinks case. Yeah, it's weird. I hardly ever remember that guy's name. the killer in that one. You know, his name just doesn't pop into my head. McGann. Yeah, there he is. Yeah, so they had a court hearing with him, and he's pleaded not guilty in that. I've got a video clip of that. Do you guys want to see that? Or, I mean, maybe we'll do that later, too. Hey, thanks, Alexander. Ali. Where's the bottle of Jim Beam? Well, it's still, there's still the empty bottle sitting over there. It's been there for months. I mean, it's amazing, people. Looking forward to hearing about this manhunt. Yeah. All right, let's take a look at that one. All right, so here's a video of where they found the vehicle, and there it is. You know, you can see the street name, Yorkshire Cove, I guess it is, and apparently the vehicle was parked back up in the woods back there. And you know how I do it, and it matches exactly what I said the other day, where I think that I go, it's pretty obvious, and that's why I do the mapping. Everybody thinks, oh, the mapping, oh, who cares about? You know, this is where the bodies were. Right, so obviously the baby is here at one point with these people, and then they were killed, and then the baby was driven this direction, and the baby was dropped off right here. And then I said, that's the direction he's heading. So he's coming down here, and that's just where he's heading, and he dropped the baby off on his way out. And then today they found his vehicle right here, which matches that precisely. So if you go down to this street here and then go down to Street View, it's a really good map, by the way, it's 3D, and that's the same location that we just saw in the video, which is right here. See that? And so there's the fence, Yorkshire, and then a wooded area right back over there. And so I guess we can get a closer look of the area from the ground over here. So apparently he drove back there into the woods, and I wouldn't doubt it. This is from 2023, so pretty, you know, maybe he drove back there. That looks like an abandoned home even. But if we go up in the air, we can probably get a good look too. I think his car was found back in this wooded area here. Now that area abuts up to a freeway here. Now, did he have somebody driving by at some point where he ran across? I guess there would be a lot of witnesses that say, "Oh man, somebody's running across the road because it's a highway." You know, and somebody could have pulled over right there. I guess you know, this is probably one way going south. So I mean, somebody could have been coming here and then he pulled over there, or he ran across and somebody was over there, and then he drove away from there. Now there's also information out now this evening that there's an apartment complex where it was raided, and we don't know exactly, you know, what that all means. So if anybody has an article on the apartment complex, send that over. We'll take a look at it. Thanks, Alley Cake. And by the way, I figured out how to zoom in. Watch, I can zoom in just right here with that software that I didn't install. See that? So I don't have to do all that extra work that I keep always doing. Right there, that's pretty good. Yeah, so he's made it out of that area. He was heading this direction, and now it's like, how long has that vehicle been in that area? You know, that's the problem, is how long was it here? Because that's not far away from where the baby was dropped off. I mean, let's measure it. Let's see what the distance is. Yeah, it's only 35 miles away. So he would have been there easily yesterday, or the day before even, when this all started. And they just now found the vehicle. Nobody saw it there, so they just found it. And then I think after that he took off. I mean, he's got a 2-day head start basically on these guys. Hello, Leslie Donovich. Well, we had a wave attempt up there to get people to follow the wave. We didn't seem to get it. Let's see. And we don't have 3,000 something people watching here. Right? Just saying. This is just one of those crazy. It's going to be the top of Bart Simpson's head in a minute. It'll go wee like this, and then it's not real. Good evening, Teresa. Now there's some information about this guy here. So this is June 23rd, 2020. This was on that one, now I can't remember the reporter's website that people are saying, you know, he's pretty good on cases. Jody S. Pickens, not sure, but right here it's Austin Drummond, and this is a, let's just read it. Hey, thanks, Walker. I have been notified of the above defendant's parole hearing. So this is a letter probably about, I think this is an officer that worked at the prison and then heard about this and then wrote a letter to say, hey, you should never let this guy out. I've been notified of the above defendant's parole hearing set on July 23rd, 2020 at the West Tennessee State Penitentiary. This office strongly opposes his early release on parole. Austin Drummond is a dangerous felony offender and confirmed member of the Vice Lords. On July 31st, 2013, he entered a Circle K convenience store and pointed a revolver pistol at the victim. In this case, so this is that same case that we talked about yesterday. Determined money, and pointed a revolver pistol at the victim in this case as he demanded money from her. He was convicted by a jury of aggravated robbery. After the jury trial, Drummond made a phone call to his father, where he threatened to the jurors and the victim in this case. He made statements saying, they are going to regret it, and I'll be out one day. Drummond's behavior while in prison should also be taken into consideration. He has 25 disciplinary actions against him that include refusing orders, drug possession, defiance, and being in possession of a deadly weapon. This type of behavior clearly demonstrates that Drummond has no desire for rehabilitation and is not capable of living among society. Due to the seriousness of the crimes he committed, the violent behavior towards the victims in these cases, and to protect his society from his criminal behavior, we feel that he should remain in prison and serve his sentence in full. Sincerely, Judy Pickens. Now, I don't know if he ended up serving his full sentence in full. Don't know, but I would imagine he didn't get out at that time because of these letters. And that probably puts these people in danger. Like the person who wrote that letter, the fact that this is out there, now he's probably got a vendetta. He's a psycho. Thank you, I'm a DNA detective. His car was found behind my bestie's house. Really? They were still searching. I mean, what are the odds of that? One of the regular freaks. They were still searching with helicopters just a bit ago. She had cops check her house before going in. Hey, maybe we should open up, let's see. We got flight radar over here. Maybe we can get, let me see if I need to log in. Let's see. We collect, okay, I agree and close. Log in. Okay, I've got to log in over here. So hold on. Let me just have it open. Here, I'll put my beautiful face up there for you guys. Hold on. I have to go look for something. Flight radar. There it is. Okay. I'm in there. And now we can go back. Oh, bull crap. I don't think that at all. Alright, let's see. Tennessee. Yeah, I mean, that car has been there for a long time. I'd be surprised if... No, so it's on the... Okay. Man, it's hard to see the map in here. There, okay, there it is. That's a good way to look at it. Let me just look. I can look at it by looking at. See how this huge area of like gray there? That's in this map over here. So it's near the top of it, and then sort of right in there. They don't let you search like an area and go to it on flight radar. It's kind of stupid. Okay, it's way up there, so it's down here. Man, that's brutal trying to figure this out. Okay, so I see that, and then just right over here. Yeah, so this should be like a helicopter somewhere in this area, if I can get that open. You know, if there's something flying around, it would be somewhere around in here. And yeah, there, see right there is the... Okay, so it's down from there. Okay, I just figured that out. Hold on. So then down here, there would be a helicopter. I mean, if there was searching, so this is the town right here. And I don't see anything there, but we'll just keep it up over here, just in case. Playback not supported when the screen is smaller. Okay. Hmm.
029.
All right. Anyways, that's pretty difficult. I guess it doesn't play back when it's not like full screen. Let's see. Okay, that one's moving. But this is the town. I don't see anything, like any helicopters or anything at this point. But you guys were currently at 1/7 of a nightly goal. So if you guys have the ability to help support the channel when we cover these cases, you guys are the sole source of the income. Last night was our donation night, and without you guys supporting the channel, we aren't able to do that. Started off cool, and it just went... Alright. So that's where they were... You know, his car was parked in these woods here. And I just think nobody saw the car for 2 days, and he's had 2 days to go wherever. Law enforcement believes he's still in the area. I don't know, you know, what makes them think that. The last time he escaped, or not escaped, but he ran from the cops after he was arrested, became a suspect in 2013. He went to Florida. Yeah, and he's heading kind of in that direction currently. You know, he's going like that, you know, and then Florida's right down there. Huh? I don't know what that means, Teresa. Let's see. All right, let's just read this one here. So this is somebody that says, I think they may have just pulled him over in Murfreesboro. So that's what this one person thought. I was just behind the vehicle. It matches the description of the truck. They pulled him over at gunpoint in a motel parking lot. You know, so that was, I mean, like another person, but this doesn't sound like that's something that happened. But that was somebody who believed it was. And it kind of made sense because that town is like over here to the right. Murfreesboro. Yeah, so if that was accurate, that's kind of over here, you know, it sort of, you know, matches the direction he'd be heading, and I'm sure he could easily get that far in that amount of time. So who knows if that's accurate or not. Wanted suspect Austin Drummond. The Jackson Police Department has located the vehicle driven by Austin Drummond in the woods near the dead end of MCO Road. So that's the road we were just looking at. It appears that he has been living in the vehicle and may be in the area. Oh, interesting. So, well, that's kind of interesting. If they think that he just kind of parked there and was living in it, and then maybe go into a store and then out or whatever, and then maybe they saw the police coming and then he took off, so maybe he would be in the area. And maybe in the area, JPD asks all people within the immediate area of this alert to lock their doors and stay indoors as we actively search for Drummond. Remember, he is considered armed and extremely dangerous. If you see him, call 911 immediately. Do not approach the suspect. I'm just reading. I just heard back from Cheryl Moran. Wow, that's crazy. She just went through a bunch of hell there. Man. Maybe I'll ask her if I can read that to the freaks. I mean, it's pretty crazy. I don't know, Teresa. I'm just... Let's see. Let me go to the next thing here. I don't know if you guys want to listen to it. They actually have the audio from one of his, like the parole hearing. Anybody interested in listening to that? Right here. It's only, I think it's 12 minutes long.
All right, today's date is the 23rd of July, 2020.
Do you guys want to listen to it? I mean, I know it's not like actively tracking anything, but...
The time now 1:07 p.m. I'm hearing your case from the West Tennessee State Penitentiary by webcam. And
I think it gives you like a better idea of like who, you know, who we're dealing with here.
This is an initial parole hearing for Austin Drummond. Mr. Drummond, can I get your date of birth?
8/31/96.
And your TDOC number?
He seems like a
sociopath.
sociopath. Like he doesn't give a shit.
541332.
Thank you. My name is Jeff Barker. I'm a hearings officer with the Tennessee Board of Parole. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, I can.
If at any point in time you can't, let me know and I'll be glad to repeat myself, okay?
Yes, sir.
And would you have expected any visitors to attend this hearing today if not for these restrictions that are in place?
Yes, my parents would have been here.
All right, you've got a decision to make. Would you like to postpone this hearing to a later date to allow your visitors to be present, or would you like to continue and have this hearing today?
I'll continue today.
You want to have your hearing today without your visitors present, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, we can do that. Let me just update your file here. And do you have any new certificates or documents that you've not already given to your IPO?
No, sir.
All right, the purpose of this hearing is to gather information from you and your records and make a non-binding recommendation on whether to grant or deny you parole. This is just a recommendation. Your file and the information gathered today will be forwarded to the board, who will then vote on your case. They will either accept, reject, or modify my recommendation, and you will receive written notification from the board in a timely manner. Do you understand the purpose of this hearing?
Yes, sir.
Appeals may be granted for the following reasons. Number one, if there is significant new evidence or information that was not available at the time of the hearing. Two, if there are allegations of misconduct by the hearing official. And three, if there were significant procedural errors by the hearings official. Appeals must be submitted within 45 days from the date that you receive that written final decision from the board. Your IPO will have those forms and can assist you if needed. Do you understand your appeal rights?
Yes, sir.
Did you receive prior notice of this hearing at least 14 days ago?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any detainers or pending charges, either federal, state, or local?
I have detained, but no pending charges.
Okay, what is your detainer for?
I have I have to serve 6 months in the county jail for vandalism.
All right, hang on just a second. Let me update that. That's out of Madison County?
Yes, sir.
So I guess this is the same hearing that that letter was sent to. That letter we just read?
All right, and I see that you're currently serving the remainder of a 13-year sentence, and that is going to be all for, let's see, 1 Class B for aggravated robbery, and then 13 Class E's for retaliation for past action, all of those out of Madison County. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm showing this is your initial parole hearing. You've not had any before now, correct?
Correct.
And your most recent strong R assessment was done in June of this year. You were scored as high for violent with pathways of mild substance use, interpersonal skills, and vocational. I'm showing you've been locked up about 83 months since August of 2013. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
I'm showing your present custody level as maximum.
Yes, sir.
And you reported juvenile convictions for, well, these convictions here, you were juvenile, correct?
But it was for
Yes, sir.
as an adult.
All right. Any other juvenile convictions other than these 14 here?
I have some misdemeanor weed possessions and some trespassing charges, stuff like that. Drug paraphernalia. No felonies.
I think it's like 2020 or something. I think it's the same time as this. I don't know. But we're actually hearing him talk. It's kind of weird.
And of course, no adult felony convictions, no supervision experience. I'm showing the highest grade you completed was 10th at Northside High School, and that you got your GED in 2016.
Yes, sir.
Any technical, vocational, or college degrees completed?
No, sir.
And you have no employment experience, correct?
I worked at Catfish Cabin, a restaurant in Jackson. I worked at Kohberger when I was 15, 16.
Okay. And no military experience, I'm assuming?
No, sir.
All right. And what programs have you completed this incarceration?
Pro-social?
Anything else?
No, sir. I was in T-Con when I came to Max, so all that happened.
And you completed pro-social life skills around April of 2015?
Yes, sir.
currently enrolled in any programs?
Say that again, sir?
Are you currently enrolled in any programs?
No, sir.
Do you owe any restitution?
No, sir. Not that I know of. I don't think so.
All right, looking at your disciplinary, your write-ups, I'm showing most recently, looks like you've got a couple of pending right now for drugs and a cell phone. Have those been to D-board yet?
No, those haven't been handled yet.
All right, and then we'll skip on to the ones that have. I'm showing May of this year a Class A for possession of a deadly weapon, Class A for assault with that weapon, also a Class B for refusing or altering a drug test. March of this year showing a Class A for security threat group activity, as well as a Class A for refusing to participate. Also have multiple others. Looks like you've had about 27 incidents in total. 7 of them Class A, 7 Class Bs. We've had threats, deadly weapons, violation of state law, drugs, and etc. Does that sound right?
Yes, sir.
Anything you want to say, any statements you want to make about your discipline?
Yes, sir. These past 2 months, the assault and the deadly weapon, it came after it was self-defense. I was almost beat to death. And that's where that came from. But before those recent ones, I went almost 2 years without any disciplinary.
All right. Were there any co-defendants on any of your active sentences?
No, sir.
Tell me about the aggravated robbery. What did you do to get this charge?
I robbed a gas station.
Were you armed?
Yes, sir.
What did you have?
It was a BB gun.
Was anyone injured?
No, sir.
How much money or what did you take?
It was like $40.
Why were you robbing a gas station?
Honestly, I was on Xanax that night. I don't even remember doing anything.
All right. Using any other drugs or alcohol around that time?
No, just Xanax, alcohol, and marijuana.
All right, and then you've got 13 counts of retaliation for past action. Tell me about this.
Yes, sir. After my trial, after I was convicted, I was on the phone with my dad, and I made a comment that I would be out soon, and that I had the jury's information.
So you made threats to go after them?
Yes, sir.
All right, I am showing there is confidential opposition statements in your file, as well as letters of opposition from the District Attorney Jody Pickens' office
There you
that
go.
strongly
That's the
opposed your
one.
parole based on the violent aggravated robbery, as well as the threats made to harm the victim and the jurors after the trial. I do see that you've submitted a release plan for your parents, Greg and Andrea Drummond. That'll be in Jackson, Tennessee, and you're requesting a temporary job waiver. Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
Is there anything else you'd like to submit or any final statements you'd like to make?
No, sir.
It's a parole hearing for this
Give me
Drummond
just a few
guy.
minutes, let me look over your file and I'll
2020.
have your recommendation shortly, okay?
Thank you.
Hey guys, if you could, don't forget to help support the channel tonight. We're really struggling right out of the gate for the month. So the video I did today did terribly. This show is not doing well, and we just got to have better start. So if you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it. I hate having to ask I wish you guys would just realize it on a daily basis. It's just the way it is, you know.
All right, Mr. Drummond, we've gone over your file today. I do need to make note this is a early release hearing. You're currently not showing eligible for release until August of next year. We've also gone over your custody level as maximum, recent and discipline ongoing throughout this incarceration.
It's for.
I'm going to recommend that you be declined.
It's so funny how people ask these questions. It's like they never watched the channel.
Based on the aggravated robbery with a firearm and those threats to the victims and jurors, and also consider you to be high risk based on your behavior this incarceration, including your custody level and removal from programs. I'm going to recommend that you be placed on a review docket in 3 years for July of 2023.
Wow. 3 more years.
Do you understand my recommendation?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
This hearing is now concluded, 1:19 p.m. Good luck to you, Mr. Drummond.
Wow. Man, he got a parole hearing and he goes, yeah, come back in 3 years. I mean, man, 3 years. Just think about that. Man, what a long amount of time. So we just got to ask, what's the money for? So the channel, when people are supporting the channel, it allows me, it supports the channel staying active. And then we also, at the end of each month, donate thousands of dollars. Like yesterday, we just gave $4,000, or $3,000 yesterday and $1,000 during the month. So $4,000 last month away. And here we are having another show where there's this huge lack of support on the channel when I'm doing the show, and I have no idea why, or I can't read people's minds. I have no idea. Anyways, that's so that was the parole hearing from 2020. There was a letter written. But currently we have one gifted membership, and we're only at $49. So we're way behind here, about 1/5 minimum. Let's see, rehabilitation was never on the card. Yeah, this guy, it's weird too when you look at him. He doesn't look like that type. He sort of looks just sort of goofy kind of. You know what I mean? That's what he looks like. Hey, thanks, Law. There you go. Appreciate that. Very kind. So this is the part about the vehicle that was found. So if you got here late, the vehicle was found. The Audi that he was driving was found right at the end of this street right here. Like you pull in right there. I wouldn't really call that a dead end. I mean, it was just pulled in right there. And then his vehicle, I think, was found in the woods back here. And so, who knows what day that was. But apparently they think he's been living out of the vehicle. Like they think he's been living out of the vehicle there, which is... that's sort of interesting. I don't know how they know that. I mean, maybe there's different wrappers on different dates of food, like maybe there's a receipt that he bought a sandwich and then he bought another sandwich and there's different dates on those and they're in the same area. So likely they think maybe he was just staying there. And then they find the vehicle, so maybe he just got the hell out of there right when he saw that there were people coming. And so maybe he is in the area. We don't know. That's right, Walker. We got the best mods here. Thanks, Walker. And thanks, Bart Madness. Bart Madness, huh? All right, so let's see what this article says about that. The white 2016 Audi that quadruple murder suspect Austin Drummond was believed to have driven has been found unoccupied in Jackson State, officials said Friday around, or Jackson, it says in Jackson, state officials said Friday around 2:15. Wow, hey, thanks, Charlotte Denny. Very cool, very cool. I appreciate that. I'm going to see if, hold on. Oh, wait. Oh, okay. So here's the thing. I've been trying to get a hold of Cheryl Moran because she normally, she responds to emails and we just, after she got sick the other day with, what do you call it, food poisoning. She just sort of disappeared. And then I felt like, because she's always like, responding and stuff, so something must have been happened. And then she finally emailed me back this evening. She said I could read it just now. If you guys want to hear it, it's pretty crazy. She's one of the moderators in here. And thanks, Charlotte and everybody. And look at that, H-Doc, 37 months of hell. 3 years of just complete madness. All right, she said, Hi, Gray. Thank you so much for checking up on me. I'm back in the hospital. My body was still acting as though it was fighting the food poisoning. Turns out I had another infection in my abdomen as well. I was going to drive myself to the ER. I fell down the stairs and was taken by ambulance. They had me pretty out of it because of the pain and the meds to help with the infection. I almost didn't make it, she said. But thankfully, I think I get to go home Monday, so I've been too sick to be on my phone, and by the time I felt better, my phone had died, and I didn't have a charger. Finally, a nurse let me use or borrow her charger. It's tough when most people have iPhones and you have a Samsung. Hey, that's like me. Gaining my strength back and still have me on heavy meds, so I get tired very easy. I'll be back soon. Thank you again. And then I said, hey, can I read that to the freaks? And she said, sure. Miss you and tell the freaks I miss them. Well, there you go. So put out your positive vibes again for Cheryl Moran. Yeah, that sucks. This is the freak family over here. So if you're somebody, everybody that's a freak is part of the family. We call ourselves, crime freaks is where it started. And we are freaks. That's what the original logo is. Yeah. All right, so anyways, it says the car was found on the dead end of MCO Road. TBI believes he may be in the area and said nearby residents have been asked to lock their doors and be alert. TBI said the last confirmed sighting of Drummond was Wednesday. Yeah, see, like it's Friday, right? Look at that, Truth Sleuth, 63 months. Where he has connections. So TBI said the last confirmed sighting of Drummond was Wednesday in Jackson. Well, that's sort of interesting. If he was a sighting of him in Jackson on Wednesday, and his car is in Jackson on Friday, and it looks like he's been living out of it, maybe that's why they think he might still be around. And they say that he has connections in that area. Jackson police said there were signs he may have been living in the vehicle. There was large police presence as officers searched a wooded area near where the car was found Friday evening. Later, the search shifted to an apartment complex. Okay, the Village Campus Oaks on Willow Oak Lane. So that would be less than a mile from where the car was found. In a news conference Friday, TBI appealed to Drummond and whoever may be assisting him to call TBI so he can be questioned. To be questioned. That's hilarious. Yeah, we just want to talk to the guy on the bridge that told the girls to go down the hill. Remember that early? What a joke. That's just so stupid. Let's see. Copy, and then right here. The Village. Oh yeah, so look at that. That's where his car was found. And then this is it right here. Wow, they were checking these apartments. Apartment searched. Hey, Alley Cat, that's your first milestone you ever sent in, huh? 49 months. That's 4 years, and Truth Sleuth is. She always says it'd be longer if she wasn't mad at me one time. Yeah, she was one of the originals, actually. She got rid of her membership one time. She'd probably be like 69 or 70 or something. It's weird that they don't keep counting. But yeah, we made it to about 50%, tonight on the goal. So if you're out there, let's keep on trucking, see if we can get there. Alright, let me save that. That's just right across the highway. See, that makes sense. He's staying there, and maybe he parked his car there, and he knows somebody that lives in these apartments right here. Wouldn't that be interesting? Do I have his been verified? I don't think he was in it. Yeah, he's been in prison too long. I don't think he's in Ben Verified because he just got out of prison and he was only 16 prior. Roger, give a shout out to my wife Doris. Hey, Doris Sellers, the legendary wife of Roger Sellers. What's going on? You got a cool husband. You got lucky, man. Maybe you did too, Roger. I just don't know your wife. I bet she has lizard eyes. Now, when I say lizard eyes, it's a compliment. Okay, you know the story. Tell her the story. All right. I mean, I think just about everybody in here would, like the women in here, you would absolutely. It would have worked if I told you your eyes look like a lizard, right? In a bar. When I meant to say they're exotic looking, Let's see. Hello, Danny from LA. When I use StreamYard, you guys are always so far behind what I'm talking about. It's crazy. Is it her birthday or something, or? Yeah, well, that's what that's the story, right? That's why we have the lizard eye emoji, because I was in a bar, and there was a waitress that was pretty, and I said, hey, we sat together at a table. I don't remember if she came over to mine. I think she came over to mine, but we were just sitting there talking. It seemed like things were going well, and I thought she had her eyes were kind of that really light hazel with the pupil, so it looked kind of like a cat or something. And I was thinking of exotic, and my first thing out of my mouth was, your eyes look like lizard, like a lizard. She didn't stay very long after that, but I was always thinking, why wouldn't you just say, what do you mean by that? Maybe people just don't have time. All right. Yeah, it's only a half mile as a crow flies, but to drive there, it makes you wonder if this guy just ran across the street here, like he was here and then he went across the street. Hey, thanks, CR, the member gifter. Huh? I don't see a Zoe in here. I don't know why. Oh, well, it's better than birthing hips. Yeah, that's what I compare it to. Kohberger's line. Usually when I tell the story, I say, well, it's better than saying birthing hips. It's at least a step above that. Your wife thinks it's a drug deal gone wrong and the witnesses were killed. Yeah, maybe. I mean, that's sort of like the almost like the cliche theory out there where people think, oh yeah, it was a drug. I mean, he must have lured him somehow. Before I leave the spot here, though, I wonder if he would stay in his car and then visit a friend that lives over here and then go back to the car at night, just so they're not there. So, I mean, that'd be sort of interesting. But you have it up here. Somehow, all the vehicles made it up here. So why did all the vehicles? I mean, is the mother really a drug dealer? You know, I don't know. She doesn't seem like that. I mean, but nobody knows anybody. And then they all show up there, even with their baby, and then he does something. But it could also be the mother of Love. You know, the grandmother of the baby has a sister, and the sister was dating this guy or married to this guy. And then, you know, the grandmother, the 38-year-old that was killed, she is, I mean, she's the daughter of their mother died when she was 55 years old earlier this year. So there might have been an inheritance associated. And then so it's interesting that the entire family, the other side, the sister and all of her siblings and everybody are dead except, you know what, the baby's still alive. So wouldn't the baby then inherit some of that? I don't know how that works, but you know, it took them all out. Maybe that was some plan that they had too. I don't know. I mean, I don't understand. This guy's literally like an uncle because he's married to the sister. So, you know, why would he kill? I mean, how does a drug deal go wrong in a family? I don't know. I don't know. We'll have to figure out how that worked. Very easily could be that, Roger. Oh, yeah, the grandmother is a patient where my wife works and is a pillhead. So you're talking about the 38-year-old that died. Okay, well, that's interesting, I guess. Then you bring your daughter and, you know, her husband, I guess, and, or, you know, I don't know if they're married or anything. I think they are married because they have the same last name. And then a baby, to a drug deal? Or, man, that's crazy. I guess we'll see. I wonder if I should, do you think scanner audio would be good to have on here? Man, it's sure hard to get, like my channel, it's so difficult to get large crowds, you know, like thousands of people watching. It's just brutal. Just YouTube, just, yeah, you know. I mean, look at this crazy shit right here. See that right there? That's just totally bogus. Like, that's not even real. There was like 3,000 and then it goes right back down to here. Because that's the real number. So whenever I see that get up like that, I just go, yeah, it's not real. Yeah, she's 38 years old, has a daughter that's 19 or 20, and then she has a baby. No. Here, look at you guys. Let me, I have it right here. Hold on. Look. This is it. Alright. See this right here? This is Courtney Rose, the grandmother. Because this is one of her sons right here, Braden. This is her daughter, Adriana. And then she married James Wilson here. That's why I think her last name is Wilson too. So these two people are married. And then they have a kid right here. That's the baby that's alive. The grandmother, Braden, Andriana, and James are all dead. And now Courtney's sister, Caitlin Speed, is married to Austin Drummond over here. The guy that they're on a manhunt for. Isn't that crazy? All right, we're hitting some of those lulls again, you guys. We need to keep the support going to try to get to the goal tonight. We're still only at like about 60%, which is better than 2%. But be great to start the month off well. You know, it's never good when we don't. Oh, and hey, thanks, Karen, for the PayPal. That was very kind of you. Very generous. And then we had another one from, who was it? Moran.
Listen.
Yeah, and so the mother of these two girls died. These two women here. And maybe there was an inheritance, and then you wipe out the whole family here. She would likely be given to her to take care of, and then they would all sort of have the inheritance, right? I mean, don't you think that they would probably, I mean, you would think that maybe, you know, it would be like this, unless there was something stipulated by the sister knowing that, I don't know. I can't believe you had Gray on your show, Vinny. I'm never watching again. Oh, is there a brother? Okay, I was actually wondering when I said the family. I wasn't sure. I almost said, I don't know if there's any other family members, but got distracted. Anyways, right here it says, Dyer County, Tennessee, a reward totaling $15,000 has been offered for information that leads to the arrest of the suspect in the deaths of 4 family members related to an abandoned 7-month-old baby girl. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, TBI, is offering $7,500, and thanks, Dixie Hippie, with the U.S. Marshals Service offering up the other $7,500 for any information leading to the arrest of the man authorities believe to be responsible for these deaths. 28-year-old Austin Drummond. The TBI announced around 2:15 p.m. Friday that agents found the Audi A3 they believe Drummond was driving unoccupied in Jackson, Tennessee. The TBI put out an alert for the car Thursday, saying the 2016 Audi had Tennessee plates and damage to the driver's side. Drummond's Facebook says that he lives in Jackson, Tennessee. Well, that's interesting. So he must know this town really well. The Jackson Police Department said they believe he may have been living in his car in a wooded area of Jackson after committing the murders. The TBI asked the public to help them find Drummond. State authorities said Drummond is wanted by the TBI and the Lake County Sheriff's Department for 4 counts of first-degree murder. I mean, that's just crazy. And the family members of his wife. Investigators found 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 21, and Matthew Williams, 38. Or I guess 20-year-old Adriana Williams, 20-year-old Matthew Wilson, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and 15-year-old Braden Williams dead in Lake County. And I think the reason his last name is Williams is because she has a husband, and then isn't he a criminal too or something? Or an ex-husband? Yeah. Let's see. Yes, he was close to our family. Yes, we cared about him and thought he cared about us. He has literally been nothing short of amazing to us and our kids every time. What's this? A Facebook post made by a family member provided a little clarity on the history between Drummond and the deceased. According to the post made by Briar Ashley Childress, an in-law of the victims, Drummond previously dated the sister of Courtney Rose. So how come they have the same last name in some? Okay, so they were boyfriend and girlfriend at some point. I thought they were married. It says, I mean, some documents actually have them the same last name. Some articles that are out there. Thanks, Richard Watts. Yes, he was close to our family. Yes, we cared about him and thought he cared about us. He has literally been nothing short of amazing to us and our kids every time he has been around us until this point. He has been amazing to our niece. We never expected him to cause any harm to anyone, much less anyone in our family. We are heartbroken. We are confused. We are devastated. We are mortified. We are hurting. Our kids are hurting. If you think for 1 second that people only get hurt by strangers, look up 90% of murder cases. A lot of times it's by someone close to them that one time showed love and support to them. Yeah, but why would you have to kill all 4 of those people? That doesn't seem like they were anyone. I mean, it just... I think he killed him because they could identify him when he wanted to kill somebody else. You know, and then the baby can't identify anybody, so he didn't kill the baby. So please think before you comment something ugly. Yes, we thought we knew him. Courtney's sister thought she knew him. So I guess they're not married. All right, so I don't know what to do with this this chart up here. It's like, I guess at one point he isn't a husband. Yeah, well, how come that information is off? It's just crazy. Courtney, Adriana, Braden, and Matthew thought they knew him. We all trusted him. We want justice for my sister-in-law, niece, nephew, and niece's boyfriend more than any one of you that had never even met our loved ones. Childress wrote in part in the post. Fox 13 investigates discovered that Drummond spent 13 years in the custody of the Tennessee Department of Corrections on convictions of, man, he's only 20 or 30 years old, and he spent 13 years in prison. Jeez. What a pile of shit this guy is, man. Just crazy. Yeah, so I'm going to skip over now to some of the Kohberger stuff, and then at the end we'll try to listen to like Broadcastify and try to see what's going on out there. Look up more posts. All right. Yeah, so everybody's already seen this picture here. This is a picture apparently that came from Kohberger being arrested in Pennsylvania. And you know what's interesting about this picture here? Well, I'll tell you what's interesting to me is that one witness that said he had like brown curly hair and was parking in those streets near the residence. Remember over here? That's exactly what that hair looks like. Man, it's just, it's hard to do when you don't turn it on. I know it's like, so that's Washington. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, you remember the other day when we were talking and we went over that one tip that came in, and the lady said that he was like walking over here and there was a white car at one point, but he was kind of walking back over in that direction. That looks exactly like how she explained it. Right there, you know, like brown curly hair. Look at that weirdo, man. Jesus. That's insane. Yeah, I mean, he always looked healthier than he does at that last hearing. In every single... I mean, it could just be his haircut, though. Like, I think if he made his hair really short there, he'd look kind of weird, too. So that's him right now. Brian Kohberger is now Idaho inmate 163-214. I think I'm gonna write him a letter. Say, you know what, Brian, I've always been pretty attracted to you, and if I could have dye my hair blonde, you know, maybe, you know, I am a guy, but you know, those are kind of stupid letters. I bet you he's already getting letters right now from idiots like these. I mean, I don't. If you want to write him a letter and ask about facts of the case, and he just doesn't want to answer, then fine. Now that's if I ever wrote him a letter, that's what I would do. I would say, yeah, I just want to know a couple things. So when you went in the house, did you see if he answers? Right. That's it. But like law enforcement said, how do we even know? All right, you guys, we're on one of those massive lulls again. We're going to need to, you know, I mean, nobody has to do anything on here. But I need your guys' support, you know, to make this channel work. And we got to get the month started off well. I tried my best. I made a 35-minute long video today, put together all the facts, and nobody watched it. Got 3,000 views and collapsed right out of the, you know, just right out of the gate. So that's not going to be helping the channel. So now I'm stuck on having the show be the only source, basically. So if you guys are watching and you have the ability to help support the channel, I would appreciate it, because we're currently only at like I think we're about $75 short currently of the goal. All right. All right, let's see. An Ada County judge sentenced Kohberger to 4 consecutive life sentences, right? Yeah, we know. Since his arrest in late 2022, he's been in jail in Pennsylvania. Now he's listed as inmate 163-214 in the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. The listing on the IDOC website says he's in the medical unit. Much has been made in recent days about Kohberger's expected living conditions and if the IMSI will be his permanent home. 4 News Now reached out to ISMI Thursday to ask where Kohberger is likely to be held in the future. Thanks, Michelle H. A spokesperson responded, once in IDOC custody, the person goes through a reception and diagnostic unit process to evaluate their needs and determine appropriate housing placement. This process takes 7 to 14 days. In this case, the RDU process is taking place in the medical unit at IMSI until a person completes the RDU process to determine their classification or housing placement. Hey, thanks so much, Paul Ayers and Michelle H. and Paul Ayers. Thank you. And by the way, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if I just totally misread it, but like when I posted my video earlier today, I want to see what the freaks think. I posted a video earlier today, and I think it was Susie donated $2, right? And then this person typed in, "Hey, it's okay, Susie. Every dollar counts, you know." And it's like, but Susie didn't say, hey, this is all I got, you know, I'm really, and I thought it was rude that the person made that comment, because, you know, Susie didn't say anything, so that means you thought it was low, and then you said something to him, and nothing's low. I mean, any amount helps on the channel, but I just thought it was kind of rude, and I don't really know if I was just misreading it, but I feel like it is, you know, like when you, it's like a passive aggressive kind of compliment, you know, like, but not really. What do you guys think about that? Like she said, yeah, thanks for your, you know, every little bit counts or something. And I was just like, well, no, it's, I mean, you know, $2 is $2, $3 is $3. You don't need to quantify. I mean, like, why comment on that? It was weird to me. And I just felt like, you know, nobody said anything. You get what I'm saying? I don't know. It's hard to explain. But anyways, hey, thanks. Love Boston and Shamo and Law. Very cool. Thanks. And thanks again, Law. I mean, you're just plain old Law. Man, how did you get that name? That's a tough one. That's like a keyword. But not my first super sticker. Oh, okay. Anyways, thank you. Anyways, I thought it sort of sounded kind of, I don't know how to explain it. Do you guys understand what I'm saying? Like, the person didn't say anything about, hey, Gray, this is all I got, and then the person needed to say back to him, hey, it's okay, any bit counts. That would have made sense, but it wasn't. He just sent, yeah, exactly, condescending, that's what I said. She sent the $2 in, and then the person said, yeah, hey, every little bit counts, you know? That's what exactly the word I thought it was. It's like condescending, passive-aggressive. And then when I called her out, she goes, what are you talking about? Man, I was just trying to be positive. And see, then it's like, it's hard to, you know, it didn't make any sense to me, and I'm pretty good at seeing that stuff. Thanking for donations. I love it. What a great problem to have. I don't know what that even means, Sandy. Anyways, so let's see. I just wanted to see what you guys thought. So I think some of you agreed with what I'm saying. They would explain it totally differently, and I would. That's what all passive-aggressive commenters, they always have a different explanation. That's why they word things in a specific way. So when you call them out on it, they go, hey, no, I was just, you know, and then it's just garbage. Anyway, so that's about it for that article there. Let's see what this next one is. I mean, he looks more normal in this picture here. But you know what's interesting about it is, like, right before this, you know, you kind of wonder what's in these pockets right here. But right before this, he was, like, in the kitchen separating trash. Yeah, and see, that's what his hair is actually like right there. And when it's not, there's no gel in it, which I bet he never wore. Dixie Hippie said, you got to learn to not care about the troll. Well, I thought it was embarrassing, a comment to have been made. Yeah, I mean, no, I mean, that's the thing. It bothered me because it seemed like it was offensive to somebody else. They weren't trolling me. You see what I'm saying, Dixie Hippie? I was trying to did his hair for court, yeah. That's probably the absolute best photograph you could ever take of Brian Kohberger, right there. If he just dared to glance at the camera for 2 seconds, you'd see what a psycho he was. Oh, I thought you were talking about what we were talking about. And we only got 2 channel memberships gifted tonight. It's kind of a low number. Hey, thanks, Allie Cake. Okay, it says the man who pleaded guilty to murdering 4 University of Idaho students has been moved to solitary confinement after being sentenced to life in prison. A spokesperson for the Idaho Department of Corrections tells us that Kohberger, 30, was transferred to long-term restrictive housing on the J Block at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution. Is there a... I wonder if they have like any images of that out there. Let's see. So you have to change the date up here. Custom range, like 2020 to 2024. J Block Tier 1 contact. What does that mean? I guess that's when you can visit there. All visits will be scheduled either through unit staff or by concern form. Visitors must be on time or will not be allowed entry into the facility. Thanks, Alley Cake and Shamo. But yeah, I mean, I think you're probably right, Dixie. Hippie in general, you know, I probably shouldn't give a damn what the trolls say, but that one was a troll that seemed to passively be attacking, I don't know, it's hard to explain it. That's what the skilled passive aggressive people, they make comments in a way that if you attack what they say, they can switch it. Thanks, Shamo. Death row, the J Block. Let's see. Idaho's death row in the J Block. Idaho found lethal injection drugs for execution. Here's how much they cost. They actually mentioned, so it's basically the same place that's what it looks like. Oh shit. That's where Kohberger is. Holy crap, you guys. He's in a like a nightmare. This is like something you see Hannibal Lecter come out of. Right? Look at this. Idaho death row in the J Block at the Idaho Maximum Security Institution near Kuna. The execution chamber for lethal injection. So he's basically living in the exact same place as the people on death row. He's just he's not on death row, he's in the same place though. Given the shady, okay, so that's why they, like the pharmaceuticals for the death penalty weren't working very well, so they've switched over to firing squad. Firing squad's pretty effective, and I don't even think there's pain. You're just kind of like done. Anyways, that's it right there. Look at that. I wonder what unit he's in. Local station KTVB reported that Kohberger was moved midday on Tuesday, July 29th, less than a week after he was handed for... Oh, by the way, remember the other day it looked like he left the prison. He did leave the prison. They just brought him to another prison where you process inmates, and then they brought him back to the maximum security prison. They worded it weirdly though. They said that he was transferred to the same leaving, and I even called over there, and they said, "Yeah, that doesn't sound right." Prisoners in long-term restrictive housing are placed in single-person cells. So prisoners in long-term restrictive housing are placed in limited to 1 hour of outly people. and provided a shower every day block is Chad Daybell, the husband of Doomsday Mom Lori Vallow. The subject of Netflix true crime docuseries Sins of Our Mother. In May 2024, Daybell, 56, was found guilty of first-degree murder in relation to the deaths of his first wife, Tammy Daybell, and Lori's children, Tylee Ryan, 16, and Joshua J.J. Vallow. All right, we need 8 more channel memberships, you guys, and then I will donate 5 memberships myself if you guys do 8. All right. Let's see. In early July, Kohberger pleaded guilty to 4 counts of first-degree murder after striking a plea deal with Idaho prosecutors to avoid the death penalty. The Washington State University graduate student. I mean, is he in there for his own protection in the... I mean, he wants to be in, like, solitary, right? Like, he's the one that decided to do that. Whoa! Look at that. Paul Ayers got 5 of them. Now we just need 3 more. Thank you, Paul Ayers. Yeah, I just said he's in J Block. Yeah. Do you mind removing the reaction bar? Oh boy. Every show. Let's see. The Washington State University graduate student admitted to the murders of Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xana Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin at an off-campus student house in Moscow, Idaho, in the early hours of November 13, 2022. Gonzalez, Mogan, Kernodle lived at the house, which has since been demolished, with fellow student Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. Chapin was sleeping over with his girlfriend, Kernodle. Yeah, we know. It's weird how they always reset the entire story every time they have an article. It's like, yeah, we know. Only people reading the article are people who know it already. On July 23rd, Kohberger was sentenced to 4 consecutive life sentences without the possibility of parole. Now there's his traffic stop. Jeez. There's that new picture. Well, you guys, we just need 3 more of those. Paul Ayers did 5 of them. Man, I thought that would easily get people to go boom, boom, and finish the other 3. We did our job. Idaho prosecutor justifies plea deal. All right, so this is in the Idaho Statesman. I have a subscription over there. Let's see what it says. Just days after sentencing in the most closely watched and scrutinized case of Bill Thompson's, this is from the 29th, but I didn't see it yet, decades-long legal career, he acknowledged that prosecuting Brian Kohberger, who pleaded guilty to murdering 4 University of Idaho students, might not have been possible if the killer had not left his DNA at the crime scene. Yeah, I mean, I think if he left the knife sheath, even if it didn't have DNA on it, it would have been a really powerful circumstantial case. But the DNA on the sheath is big, but it's really the combination of all the information. Hey! Whoa! Thanks, CR and Shamo and Wendy Woobles. Alright, I'm going to get this over here. But yeah, that's one of the debates we have all the time. It's a really weak case if all you have is a knife sheath with Kohberger's DNA on it and no surveillance footage. or, and he left his cell phone at home. That would have been, like, just brutal. Oh, wow, okay, there's touch DNA. People would go, there's reasonable doubt that he didn't touch that, especially, I mean, they would have seen that he ordered a... Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. Like, let's say there's a K-bar knife there, but his DNA isn't on it. At least that the Amazon orders match up, where he bought the exact same make and model. A Honda Elantra is driving around, missing its front plate, and he turned his phone off, and then it turns back on south. I mean, that's enough where I would think it'd be unreasonable to think it was somebody else. But if that's all you have, I guess you would still have the order. You don't have the car, but you would have that he ordered it. I don't know, man. It's pretty... Yeah, welcome. All the new freaks. I'm going to open up this live stream and donate the 5. Oh yeah, I get to gift the free ones. I get 10 to give out. Here's 5 right here. But after I give out the 10, the rest of the month it costs me $25. So there you go. All right. I don't know if YouTube, if they give me 25 when I do it, I have no idea. I don't think so. I think they just give away memberships. Other cold cases were, maybe. I don't know, Teresa. I think this might be his first one. I think he might have, practiced how to break into people's homes and things prior. And then he wanted to commit the perfect one right out of the gate. But you never know. You never know. So anyways, this says, just days after sentencing in the most closely watched and scrutinized case of Bill Thompson's decades-long career, he acknowledged that prosecuting Brian Kohberger, who pleaded guilty to murdering 4 University of Idaho students, might not have been possible if the killer had not left the DNA at the scene. Right. Well, I think just the sheet, though, would have worked. Without that critical piece of evidence, Thompson told the Idaho Statesman in a phone interview, the state would have struggled to bring charges, let alone make an arrest of its only suspect. Yeah, I mean, the DNA led to Kohberger, and it was on a, basically a extension of the murder weapon. From our perspective as prosecutors, the DNA was critical to the strength of the case for trial purposes. Well, it places him in the house. That's the key to that. The sheath also places him in the house if you can convince the jury that it's the same one that he bought on Amazon, because his white Elantra was driving around and he turned his phone off during exactly that time. So you wouldn't actually need the DNA on it. You just would have had to figure out who he was, look into things, find out that he ordered the exact same knife. From our perspective as prosecutors, the DNA was key. After sentencing, lead investigator Moscow Police Corporal Brett Payne expressed confidence that law enforcement would have ultimately arrived at Kohberger, who drove his white Honda Elantra to commit the stabbings with a large fixed blade knife. I agree that it would have led to him. Just the cell phone data alone, they would think, wow, look at this guy. he drove a white Elantra and he turned his phone off during this time, and he was moving around. There's a lot of white Honda Elantras out there, Thompson said, but if they stuck with it, eventually they would have found Mr. Kohberger's car and made that preliminary connection. Right. So it's interesting to get to hear their perspective on the same debate that we've had in here many times. It wasn't until investigators confirmed the paternal DNA match from the trash retrieved at Kohberger's parents' home that the longtime Latah County prosecutor said he and his team felt they had the evidence needed to seek an arrest warrant. And trying to prove Kohberger's guilt beyond a reasonable doubt without the link through his DNA found on a leather knife sheath, in addition to no known motive and no murder weapon, could have been insurmountable at trial. Yeah, I guess that would be, you can't find a motive. You can't make the connection between him and the girls. Yeah, I think that's fair to say, said Thompson. In his 33 years as the North Idaho County elected prosecutor, we didn't have to make that decision. Kohberger, 30, was sentenced last week to 4 consecutive life terms in prison after he reached a plea deal to avoid the death penalty. He has no chance of parole and also waived his ability to appeal. The 4 fatal stabbing victims were University of Idaho undergraduate Kaylee Gonzalez, Madison Mogan, Xander Kernodle, and Ethan Chapin. The 3 women lived in an off-campus home. Yep, we know that. A number of questions remain in a case that generated international attention, including for Thompson, who was involved from the investigation's first day. Before then, he not before visited that home or college neighborhood in Moscow, he said. But he stands behind the resolution of the case, which led to his putting off retirement. Maybe he should have retired. I think it would have been a little bit better for. I don't know. It's weird because I get both sides, but it seems like every person like a Kohberger should face justice. But I guess this is just one tiny step below what possibly. If he got the death penalty and the jury voted not to give him, or let's see, if they found him guilty and the jury decided not to give him the death penalty, this is worse than that outcome, because that would have been life without parole with the ability to appeal. This is a step worse than that. You see, so it's like, it's a great outcome. Like if there was a trial and this was the final outcome, people would have been happy with that. Except you would never get this outcome at a trial because he would be required to have appeals and everything like that. This was a deal cut where Kohberger himself, with the insurmountable evidence against him, admits to doing it. What do you mean trying to get with? He just went there to kill him. And by the way, 28 and 20, that's not really that crazy. Yeah, he did say he loved being in college. There were injuries that appeared to have been caused by something other. Okay, let me see. As an example of what's still a mystery, the order of the 4 victims' death is not entirely clear, Thompson said. But he and investigators believe Gonzalez or Mogan might have been Kohberger's intended target because it appears he entered the home and immediately went to the 3rd floor where the first attacks occurred. And as alleged by Gonzalez's older sister at sentencing, Kohberger may have used a second weapon in the murders. Her injuries included a horizontal pattern, ABC News reported, but that didn't break the skin and wasn't fatal, Thompson said. There were injuries that appeared to have been caused by something other than the knife, although it could have been the knife, Thompson said, relying on the assessment of the medical examiner in Spokane, Washington, who conducted the autopsies. I don't think we can exclude the possibility that there was an additional weapon involved. Autopsy reports are confidential in Washington, he noted, but he shared generally that the toxicology results for the 4 victims, which have not been released, showed varying levels of alcohol intoxication and no evidence of illegal drug use at all, Thompson said. Well, how's that, pro-burger nut jobs out there? Nothing. I thought you guys said they were all into drugs and they were doing all this crazy stuff. Nothing. And yes, you guys, I donated the 5 memberships, and I always notice whenever I do that, it just goes. But if you're out there and you still want to help support the channel, you got to have, like, get the month started off well. We reached that minimum level there where I donate the 5, but if you have the ability to, that'd be great. Let's see. There were, so autopsy reports are confidential. And then it went to say that they weren't like, there's no other drugs. Just 2 of the 4 victims, Gonzalez and Kernodle, had defensive wounds. Right, because I think that Madison Mogan was asleep, attacked, woke up Kaylee. Kaylee saw him, fought back. That sound alerted people downstairs like Xander Kernodle, who went up there and then maybe was chased down, then attacked at the room. And Ethan Chabon was probably just totally out of it, drank too much, etc. And he was asleep, and then he was attacked. And he may have woken up for a moment after he was stabbed, but then he lost consciousness. You know? Just 2 of the 4 victims. Hey, thanks, CR! And Dixie Hippie gifted 1 Grey Hughes Investigates membership. And, I also want to just say thanks to everybody, because you guys are the reason, that at the end of the month we're able to give, I mean, there's some months where, like 80% of all the super chats go to the, could be if I have a really good ad revenue month from videos, goes to the charities, right? I think this month it was had to be over 50%. I'll have to go check. Let's see. Hubby said there's a disc on the end of a knife handle used to hit things in combat. Yeah, I don't know. There was like stripes on it. I think maybe he put the handle. I don't know. It's hard to say. I mean, because if you're holding on to the handle, how do you stick it in somebody's mouth without grabbing the blade? And then why would you grab the blade? You're going to cut your hand. It just seems like, I don't know, maybe there is a second item there. Among the people police interviewed during the investigation was a woman who drove for the food delivery service DoorDash. Oh, cool. And brought an order of Jack in the Box to Kernodle at 4 a.m. the morning of the murders. After an unrelated traffic stop in September, she told Pullman police that she expected to testify and believed she saw Brian and had parked right next to him. Thompson confirmed her identification and said prosecutors intended to call her as a witness had there been a trial, but only to help establish the timeline. That's exactly what I was saying. Of the murders, based on neighborhood video surveillance. So the thing is, I said she's not an important witness unless she saw Kohberger, literally could identify him. Other than that, she's a timeline person.
And it doesn't even, she's actually not important at all. It's just really fascinating how she's moving around and Kohberger's in and out of there a couple times. She told Pullman police that she expected to testify and believed she saw Brian, and then he said he confirmed that. Indeed, if you guys, I haven't seen this article yet, so it's pretty cool to read this. Thompson confirmed her identification and said prosecutors intended to call her as a witness had there been a trial, but only to help establish the timeline of the murders. Based on neighborhood video surveillance footage, the woman did not come across Kohberger, right, we just read that, or his car, he said. Instead, she likely saw a light-colored SUV, Payne wrote in a redacted but now public police report after he interviewed the driver 10 days following the homicides. The vehicle and person he saw, person she saw that she thought might be the killer is not Mr. Kohberger, Thompson said. That was a different vehicle, a different person at a slightly different time. Yeah. And I think we have that like at, what was it, like 355 or so, something like that. No, 350, yeah, 353 or 4. I think that's the guy that's walking behind that you see on surveillance footage from the 1330 Linda Lane camera at, I think it's 251, 351, I mean. Who's a copycat? Mm-hmm. No, but it wasn't. There was no cop at the scene, though, Lisa. So, yeah, I think Kohberger was just like trying to be the perfect serial killer, and an homage to Danny Rolling with the K-bar knife and the sliding glass door, and then Bundy with the off-campus sorority house, and who the hell else? And, if he left the knife sheath intentionally, then he left it there. Maybe like BTK sending notes. Who the hell knows? Yeah, we've said that since the beginning. Let's see. The vehicle and person he saw was not Kohberger. The only person to see Kohberger that morning was Dylan Mortensen, one of the two surviving roommates. She told police that she opened the door to her second-floor bedroom and saw a man clad in black wearing a mask over his nose and mouth with bushy eyebrows who walked towards the second-floor sliding glass door carrying a container of some kind. Yeah, we said all that, Pamela. We've said all that for like a long time. BK was a wannabe. Yeah. From what Dylan described, I have a hard time imagining that the killer did not see Dylan, Thompson said. I don't know, man. Kind of, he's turning quick. At that point, he'd been in the house probably longer than he planned, and he had killed more people than he planned. See, he agrees with what we've been saying this whole time. That I think he only went in there to kill Madison Mogen. He doesn't know if that was supposed to be Madison Mogen or Kelly Gonzalez. It wouldn't surprise us that the killer was scared at that point and decided that they had to leave, not knowing if law enforcement already had been called. Now, so maybe him not wanting to waste more time killing somebody, he wanted to get the hell out of there, but that's not what happened. See, that's something Thompson isn't really putting in, in his calculus, is that when Kohberger left the house, probably right around 4:19 or so, he didn't go right out to his car and drive away quickly at a high rate of speed. He sat there. He went through his car and took off clothing and did all these other things, and he got out of there. at 4:20 and 47 seconds. Dylan was already on the phone in the 4:19 minute. Mortensen delivered a tearful victim impact statement at Kohberger's sentencing hearing last week. It wouldn't surprise us that the killer was scared at that point and decided that they had to leave, not knowing if law enforcement already had been called. Mortensen delivered a tearful victim impact statement at Kohberger's sentencing hearing last week. Seated at the prosecution table, she described in detail the personal trauma she continues to endure over the deaths of her 4 friends and the events of that night. Thompson leaned forward beside her to block Kohberger's vantage and did so at her request, he said. Powerful doesn't come close to strong enough word to describe how that felt. The strength that she showed. I mean, that's what I thought. Man, that's just so gutsy for her to get up there, given the lunatics that are on social media that have accused her, and still probably to this day. But you know the clown with the spider eyeballs, like that total dipshit of a human being. He made probably 50 videos on her and probably made, $10,000-$20,000 just on videos accusing Dylan Mortensen and Bethany Funk. And then he deleted all of them after Kohberger pled guilty. He got rid of every single one of them. That just shows you. I mean, everybody should have left that guy's channel the moment he did that. Because what that means is that he knew that he was tricking all of you that whole time. We have a torso case, and I guess the one with the bike that one's causing a lot of difficulty. They have another thing to test, but a lot of bacteria contamination. But we'll see. We're doing the torso, the guy that was buried in a cemetery in Indiana. Torso case, and then we have the kid, with the bike next to him. But we're going to use the torso case as a sample to see if that might be a good candidate technique to use for the the case with the bike with the guy that was shaved from the waist down. Anyways, Dylan Mortensen. I just don't understand, by the way, like. These people still go over and watch somebody who would do that. Delete the entire freaking collection of videos that they made, and they knew that the entire time they were making them that it wasn't accurate, that they were just knowing that people wanted that they have questions, so now you can play on that, and made tons and tons of videos on it and made thousands and thousands of dollars, because his videos, we get like 70,000 views, 100,000 views, 200,000, and it was all garbage. And he's very responsible in a huge way for the massive wave of hate towards Dylan and Bethany. And man, I sure as hope to God that the families and whatnot come forward and sue the hell out of those guys. And I want that. That should be, and that would maybe start slowing down some of the stuff. It's okay to, like, if you speculate, don't use names, and you're just trying to figure something out, and you say you're not really sure if this is, but when you make videos where the whole goal is to literally attack and accuse of people doing something, that is totally different. I don't even know what that means. Anybody that would watch a clown is an idiot. Right. That's what I always say. It's like, isn't a clown the last person on YouTube that you would assign credibility to? Thanks, MM. I mean, a literal clown. That's crazy. Okay, so here it says, Thompson initially said the prosecution intended to call as a witness at trial 2 members of Kohberger's immediate family. Wow, this is a really interesting article. Have you guys seen this? The defense won a ruling from Judge Stephen Hippler to allow his parents and 2 older sisters to attend the entire trial if they chose. Thompson and his team considered calling Kohberger's older sister Amanda and either his mother or father. Kohberger's parents attended his plea hearing earlier this month while his mother and Amanda were present for his sentencing. Both of them cried during the victim's statements. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. This is, well, I mean, I have a subscription, but in the end, had the murder trial moved forward, prosecutors settled on calling none of them. As we continued to review them as a potential witnesses, we decided that they just simply weren't the best witness to show what was going on, he said. The parents were understandably protective of their son, and the sister really didn't seem to have anything specific that she could contribute. But I thought, so is none of that stuff that Howard Blum put out even accurate? That the sister was like, we got to go check his car. I think he did this. You know, that kind of stuff. Because that would be important. Wouldn't it? Yeah, you don't need to. I don't want you to know who the clown is. Because if you know who the clown was, you might go watch. And that would just be one too many views of anything. Let's see. They also spoke with law enforcement. Okay. Those family members were interviewed by investigators in January of 2024, according to Moscow police reports. They also spoke with law enforcement immediately following the raid and arrest of Kohberger at his parents' home in Pennsylvania in late December of 2022, which included a search warrant for a variety of Kohberger's belongings. None of what they shared was absolutely, or was substantial, I don't know, none of what they shared was substantively, man, I hate that word, man, that's one of the ones I can't say, incriminating during those discussions. Thomas said, which he called a casual conversation. Substantively. I think there was a little too many t-t-t's. Right. But hey, if you're out there, you guys, don't forget to help support the channel. We got to get this month started off well here. To the extent you have casual conversations when the police execute a search warrant in the middle of the night, Thompson said. Got to answer this. Yep. All right, let's see. To the extent you have a casual conversation when the police execute a search warrant in the middle of the night, Thompson said. Taken from the home were dozens of items according to a Pennsylvania search warrant return record, including several academic textbooks, several knives, a handgun, notes from Kohberger to his parents, and ID cards inside glove inside box. The 2 ID type cards were of 2 women who were former co-workers or acquaintances. Look at that. It's Wendy Woobles trying for a wave. Will people pick up on Wendy Woobles' wave? Wendy Woobles' wave. I like that. That sounds good. The 2 ID cards were of 2 women who were former co-workers or acquaintances of Kohberger from several years earlier, Thompson said. At least one of them, he said, was from when Kohberger worked as a part-time security officer at a Pleasant Valley school district. Kohberger graduated from the district's high school, and his parents also previously worked in the district. Both of the individuals were contacted, so both of the individuals that the cards were from were contacted by investigators, Thompson said. They don't know how Mr. Kohberger ended up with those items, and they had not been harmed or threatened or anything themselves. So, man, what if he broke into their homes? Just do it. Guess not, Wendy Woobles, but thank you. What investigators never recovered, either Kohberger's graduate student apartment in Pullman, was the so maybe that was used as a weapon if they in March of 2022 when he bought the K-bar knife and let me see, what does that look like? Something? Wendy Woobles hanging. At trial, however, prosecutors intended to present a K-bar knife and sheath to the jury for demonstrative purposes. Thompson said. Then investigators replicated what the Amazon purchase record showed that Mr. Kohberger had done, he said. If the defense had not contacted the prosecutor about a plea deal, Thompson said, he was confident in their evidence to obtain a conviction of Kohberger on 4 counts of first-degree murder. He and his team had no hesitation about seeking the death penalty, he said. Our thought is that this is on track for trial, and if that's where it goes, that's where it's going to go, Thompson said. And we're going to do our best job to present everything that we believe is legally relevant to help the jury make the decision. What are you guys talking about? No. I've got excellent connection over here. Just reset your... You just gotta like reset. Every once in a while you gotta like reload up YouTube. That's just the way it is. Yeah, it's nothing on my end. Hey, welcome Ruthie Ronquist. I love it how nobody comments, but whenever there's something that's not going right, they come out of the woodwork where they have never commented the whole night. You know, and then they say something. You know, it's just really weird. I tried backing out and back in again. Yeah, I'm not, there's no problem with my connection over here. Yeah, I have no problem at all. It's, you know, excellent connection. See right there? Excellent connection. Yeah, I'm not having any drop frames of any kind. Yeah, it's all good. Did it just sort of just start up or what? All right, anyways, our thought is that this case is on track for trial, and if... Hey, thanks, Shamo, you got Wendy Woobles. All right. And a continued wave they put on there. It's like you're a new in... No, that's okay. Somebody from Kick is trying to sell me something. I know, Ruthie, you're a freak. You're an absolute freak, man. You're a freak show. All right. Our thought is that this case is on track for trial, and if that's where it goes, that's where it's going to go, Thompson said. And we're going to do our best job to present everything that we believe is legally relevant to help the jury make that decision. Thompson has received criticism mainly from the Gonzalez family, but also from Kernodle's father for striking a deal with the defense that bypassed trial and a possible death sentence for the man who murdered their daughters. Thompson said he doesn't hold strong personal feelings about the death penalty, recognizes it is the will of the people in the state through the Idaho legislature, and does accept it at face value. The prosecution absolutely would have tried to get it if the case had gone to trial, he said. Look at that weirdo, jeez. This certainly was a case where the death penalty was appropriate. Yeah, that's what I said. Thompson said, if we ended up going through trial into penalty phase, I think under the law it met the elements. With Kohberger's case finished, Thompson plans to release his remaining time in office, reassess his remaining time in office. He already considered retiring last year, but felt compelled to see the prosecution of Kohberger through, including trial, and ran for a 9th term to continue his tenure in the role since 1992. I simply couldn't walk away. I couldn't leave office, he said. This case, it was too important. The stakes were too high, so I ran for re-election, and nobody ran against me. I can't imagine why. Thompson said he now may consider retiring before his current term ends at the start of 2029. Whenever he calls it a career, he said, he would leave with a great deal of satisfaction knowing that we've been able to bring this case to a conclusion. He called it a trying experience, overseeing the high-profile case over more than 2.5 years. I think that we did our job, and we had the opportunity to do this in a way to really give some immediate finality. We're pleased and relieved that the community and the victims' families aren't going to have to continue to live this and relive this trial, or this during a trial. Yeah, so I mean that's little things like, you know, it does sort of keep the families from having to live through a nightmare. But there's two sets of families that were okay living through the family. I guess one of Kernodle's, her father, and the Gonzalez's. But is it fair then to force the other people who do not want to live year after year with appeals after appeals, just so that you can try to get the death penalty at the very end? So that's where you gotta think about, like, okay, so you've got Madison Mogen and Ethan Chapin's parents. They need to move forward for their own sanity. They don't want to have to deal with going to trial for the next 20, hearings for 20 years, and then there's a death penalty. That would just go on forever. And so I totally get it, because it stops all that from happening. And maybe someday the Gonzalez's will come to appreciate the decision. I guess it's hard to appreciate it, though, because they won't have had to deal with the 20 years and how it just eats away at their lives. So it's something that they'd have to just sort of, I don't know. I mean, the thing is, I would be more like he is. I'd want there to be a trial and the death penalty, etc. But I don't know. It's a tough one there. Well, that was pretty interesting. Is anybody here? You guys everybody quit typing, and this is when I'm about ready to end the show, whenever we get that situation. When you get like 2 comments in 3 minutes, that's just not, it's not worth doing anything at that point. Yeah, everybody just keeps, like I could have made a video on this, but what's the point? I mean, how do you make a video on this photograph? All you'd have to do is go back through the whole case again and then go, oh, look, and this is what he looked like when he was arrested. I know, it's a waste of time. Brian Kohberger. Yeah, do you make a lot of shirts, Lisa? All right, now let's go back. Now I don't have any more to say about that. I thought that was pretty interesting, though. Where is that? Man, I don't see it. Maybe it's in video? Weird. I was going to try to play that hearing for that nut job. But somehow it disappeared for no reason. It's just gone. Yeah, Kohberger doesn't blink too often, that's for sure. I'm just looking for this recording that I did earlier. Okay, there it is. See if we can fix the audio at least. So apparently this is the McGann in a hearing today. I'm just looking at how horrendous this audio is here, though. Let me just audio channel. I mean, it was almost unlistenable, if that's even a word. Audio channel. And that wasn't it. Audio channels. They're all to right. And then audio gain. Make it 10. I'll probably make it louder. Let's see. Can you hear this? Let's see. Oh, it sounds like I recorded my music with it.
I'm Grant Hughes,
All right, very good. You are Andrew James McGann. Yes. You're in front of me today, sir, for your first appearance under Arkansas Rule of Criminal Procedure 8.1. You have 2 charges currently pending against you out of the Washington County Circuit Court, both for capital murder. You should know you have the right to be represented by an attorney. A free attorney will be appointed if you can't afford one. You're not required to say anything today. Anything you say can be used against you. You also have a right to communicate with your counsel, your family or friends, and a reasonable means will be provided for you to do that. I've been presented with an affidavit of indigency this morning from Mr. Parrish. I'm going to sign off on that and appoint the public defender's office to your case moving forward to represent you.
Your Honor, with that said, once the court is appointed, the law requires I appoint 2 attorneys to represent him. Go death qualified. I will be doing something. I have 7 to 10 days to do that.
Yes, certainly, Mr. Parrish. I'll give you his next court date when we finish this. The bond is set at no bond right now with your next court appearance for August 25th of this year at 7:45 a.m. That's going to be your arraignment date at the detention center. There's been a finding made that probable cause exists in a detainee that was made by a judge previously. Anything further, Mr. Parrish, or do you wish to be heard?
Your Honor, the only other thing that I would indicate is, depending upon which division this case falls in, I'm advised to get maybe sooner than August 25th. We don't know. We're aware of that. That's what I'm saying.
All right, very good. Anything else from the state or anyone else?
Your Honor, we'd ask that you add in conditions if Walt Taylor is released, that the defendant have no contact, direct or indirect, with any member of the Briggs family.
I can add that, today, there's nothing to add it to. There's no condition. Are you with a bond is set?
No, you're in jail.
Sure, he's not going to have contact though. If a bond is set, then a no contact provision can be part of that bond. But right now, there's no reason to do that. Anything from anyone else? All right, thank you.
That's that side.
Yes.
Thank you. Questions?
Yes.
No, that's it. I think that guy's, you know, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a serial type offender. See, the stuff that he did is like a Kohberger type, or you know, I don't think it's the situation's similar to Richard Allen, like in the woods, and you know, it seems like his goal was to attack the little girls, but the parents got in the way or something. But he's got like a, you know, this guy that's on the loose here, he's not like that. He's just an evil, like killer to get what he need. You know, it's different. It's a different type of. That's why those people aren't as interesting to me. Like this guy, Kohberger, Richard Allen isn't as interesting to me either, because I think that was like his first time, and he sort of had, you could tell he kind of felt bad about it, kind of. You know, like he was going to let Abby go, but then changed his mind because he didn't want her to point out who he was or something. And then I think it kind of ate him away. These guys here don't care. Like Kohberger, this guy, and you know, we don't see these types very often. Mm-hmm. Well, I heard that they vetted the schools. He passed everything. So I think this guy, what he would do is basically what he was trying to do is groom the schools that he was at. I think he would go to those schools, he'd try certain things, and if things didn't work out, he'd go, yeah, I'm going to get transferred, before people really caught on to what he was doing. And he, you know, like at one of the schools, he'd be like, oh, wow, he showed favoritism. Well, those are probably a couple of the girls that he really wanted to capture or do something with at some point. And then he moves on from there, and he doesn't have anything negative in his books, because it's just, oh, okay, you know, he's leaving now. And hey, thanks, Forgetful Mandy. Thanks for not being forgetful and helping support the Grant Hughes Investigates YouTube channel. Thank you. Yeah, and then he would just move on to different. I'm just basing my theory on like the factual elements, that he went to a whole bunch of different schools, but nobody caught on really to what he really was at any of the schools, and he would leave before doing that. That's why he's able to go to all these different schools. And so I think that's what he was doing. And maybe, I mean, it's really interesting. Like, what led him to that park on that day? He just thought, ooh, if I go to this park, it's kind of a wooded area. You know, you wonder if he scouted out the park before that, previously, went there, looked around, where was a good spot that's kind of hidden away. It looks like he kind of picked a spot that was over there. You know? So here's until they come around the corner next to him. Doesn't that make sense a little bit? So then, you know, he's following behind. He's way back here, but he sees that they go this way, because that's how you do these trails. So you would go on this upper section, walk all the way around, and then come downhill, and at the very end, you kind of go up a little bit, and you're right back at the trailhead. So it kind of makes sense that he would go that direction, or they would go that direction, and then he would quickly go over here and sort of wait for them to make their way around. What do you think of that? I think that's a pretty reasonable theory right there. And maybe he'd already been there before, so he knew about what the layout was. It's also, you know, he could have just passed them at some point and they didn't think much of him, right? Like he could have walked by him and went way ahead of him and waited. Hey, thanks, Monkey Ward. Man, you guys is it's just I don't know how far behind you guys, but whenever I ask something, it's like 30 minutes later I get a response. Yeah. Breaking news live stream. Oh, that was the in court. All right, let's see. This is another thing regarding that. Yeah, good. Hey, good for you, Logan. Thanks for letting us know. It says right here, a suspect have arrested 28-year-old Andrew James McGann in connection with the killing of a married couple who believe the attack was completely random, and the bravery of the couple's children who survived the attack and helped lead authorities to the suspect. The victims, identified as Clinton and Kristen Brink, were hiking with their 3 daughters. This is, where are we? KARK.com. When the tragedy occurred, the children are now in care of relatives. McGann's arrest stunned those who knew him, including former high school classmate and rugby teammate Patrick Bailey, who attended Fenwick High School in Oak Park, Illinois, with McGann between 2016 and 2018. I was made aware of it through another friend who said, "Didn't," and when I saw the mugshot, I recognized his face immediately, Bailey said. Reading fund. Hey, thanks, Kami. And yet you get confused at, I don't even know what that means. What does that even mean? You know, like, it just doesn't make any sense, man. And then I get confused at, and then a face. And then Zozo's laughing, but there's no humor in it. Like, what's the part that's funny? Mine is buffering on and off, but not all the time. Yeah, it's not my end. My stream is excellent connection. Nothing. Yeah. Every word? Don't know what that means. How does a sentence start with every word? Every word get a. Yeah, you guys just quit complaining about it, okay? I can't do anything for you. I can't fix it. Just figure out how to do it yourself by going out, coming back in, whatever you got to do. Complaining about it it's not going to fix anything. My stream is perfectly fine on YouTube with its excellent connection. There's no issues over here. And so just typing it in gets really annoying after a while, all right? It's just over and over and over and over again. You get what I'm saying? It's just, there's nothing I can do for you. I wish I could. I wish I could magically have a hand reach through the TV, grab your phone, and go out and go back in on YouTube. It's just that simple. Works every time. I tried it, Gray. It didn't work for me. Right. No, I didn't ask. That's not why people are delaying. That's not why people are delaying. You guys are about 30 seconds behind me. So I'll ask something, wait for 15 or 20 seconds, and then I get tired of waiting. And then I move on to something else, and then I get the answers in there. That's not why people are not. What's wow? What's going on? Did you hear something interesting, Nikki? So, no, okay. Jesus. Just, it's amazing. I was made aware of it through another friend who said, "Didn't you know this guy?" And when I saw the mugshot, I recognized his face immediately, Bailey said. Bailey remembered McGann, known to friends as Andy, as quiet but friendly team leader and athlete. We led by example. He wasn't the loudest guy. He led by example. He wasn't the loudest guy in the room, but he kept things light, Bailey said. We carpooled to rugby practice together at all the time. Cracked jokes. He seemed like a totally normal guy. Bailey said the two were never close friends, but interacted often during high school, particularly during rugby season. They lost touch after graduation, aside from occasional Facebook interaction. We never expect to see someone you know, someone you shared a field with in a headline like that, he said. By no means was there ever an indication he'd been capable of something like this. What happened to that one case? Remember that one in Lake Oswego? Like a couple years ago? Like actually, that same, near the area where I go fishing sometimes. There was that guy that had those girls over at his house and he drugged them, but they escaped and then he got arrested, they arrested him. What the hell happened to that? That was a weird one. No, but it isn't why you're not responding. Yeah. You're 30 seconds behind. I mean, that's just the part. But it's also when people aren't chatting, it's kind of slow at that point. I just can't do anything about it. You know what I mean? So I don't. It's just like I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do when people are going, "Hey, it's buffering, it's buffering. Hey, it's buffering." I try going in, I try going in. Okay, but I can't do anything. I mean, maybe people want to type it in. I guess it's just I can't do anything for you. I can just tell you to leave YouTube and then come back in, and then it might not do that. Yeah, do you remember that one? Shadow aspect. Yeah, Bailey also sent his condolences to the family. Okay. What was that one? Let me look. Let me see if I can find that. Lake Oswego, father drugged, daughters, friends. That should be it. 2 years for drugging daughter's friend. Yeah, the sleepover. Remember?
Over in his home.
Victims and their parents.
Her heal from what you did. Look at me.
On Monday, a judge sentenced Michael Meiden to Meiden repeatedly check if they were awake. Around 2 a.m., she texted her mom for help, and all the girls, Meiden and the judge, pleading for the maximum sentence of 4.5 years, saying they fear the worst could have happened that night.
No decent parent puts their hands on drugged and unconscious young girls without nefarious intent. Do not for 1 second think that I don't know who and what you are.
The prosecution said police searched Meiden's home for cameras.
Yeah, I mean, this guy right here is exactly the same type of person. I mean, what a sick person this guy is. You remember that? Like they one of them was just barely awake, but could tell that he was checking on it. He wanted to like knock him out so he could do whatever he wanted to do. Wish I had that. Let me see. I'd like to have the probable cause on that. I don't know. I don't know where that can. I wish it was out there already. not in the chat. It's obviously you. Oh my god, we're still talking about it. Oh my god. Oh yeah, I remember that, Amber. That was crazy. Mom, please pick me up and say I had a family emergency. I don't feel safe. I might not respond, but please come get me. Please, please, please pick me up. Please, please, please. Man, how creepy is that? Documents say a family friend who came and picked her up, took her home around 3 a.m. At first. Geez, he wouldn't let him in to pick up their own girls, telling the parents the girls were sleeping. Maiden finally taken home. And all the girls 7-minute apology saying his daughter had tried to sneak out. Yeah. So you drugged all 3 of them? That's stupid. Taco, Charlie, Alexander, Alley Cake, Walker, I'm a DNA detective, Laney Carter, K, me, Laney Carter, Law, Walker, Bart, Madness, then Charlotte. Denny did a cat eye donation. Yeah, let's see. Oops. I have to reload this. Well, it doesn't matter, you know, if it's not happening on another channel. It doesn't matter at all. Man, you never have anything to say except something negative. It's crazy. Anyways, let's see. What do we got here? I always notice that with you, Cali Gal. You don't even speak. You don't say a damn thing until you have something you can kind of like try to jab the channel about. You ever notice that? It's weird. Forgetful Mandy, then Monkey, Ward, K-Me. I think I need to... Man, let me go over here and do it. It's better. I'll start over. Alright, we've got Sandy Shirley, Wendy Woobles, Timothy Cecil, Toka Charlie gifted a membership. Then we have Alexander, and then Alley Cake, and then Walker, then I'm a DNA detective, and then Laney Carter, K-Me, and Laney Carter again, help victims support Gray, like a subscribe to, and then we have Law, and then Walker, and Bart Madness, and then Charlotte Denny, then we have H-Doc, and then H-Doc, member for 37 months. Truth Loose for 63. Alley Cake for 49. And then we have Roger Sellers. Gray, give a shout out to my wife, Doris. Hello, wife, Doris. And then CR, get to the membership. And then Leanne Bell. And Roger Sellers. My wife thinks it's a drug deal gone wrong. Yeah, it could be. Sounds like that one might be more likely now, given that the... I mean, I guess he could have tried to kill, was going to kill the brother in the future, too. You know, we don't know. Could be anything. And Roger says, the grandmother is a patient where my wife works and is a pillhead. And then, let's see. Dixie Hippie, Richard Watts, Michelle H., Paul Ayers, Law, Shamo, and then Love Boston, listening at work. Hey freaks, hello, Love Boston. Then Dixie Hippie, you gotta learn not to care about the trolls so much. Yeah, I was just telling you about that comment somebody made. Alley Cake, Shamo, then Paul Ayers gifted 5. We were trying to get the numbers in there. Then Wendy Woobles, and then CR gifted 5 right after that. The membership queen, and then Shamo gifted another one, and then Old One, then I gifted 5, then we had CR, then Dixie Hippie gifted a membership, then MM, then Wendy Woobles, Ruthie Ronquist, Shamo. And then we had Forgetful Mandy, and then Monkey Ward, and then K Me for the reading fee. And then we had Karen Milder with the very generous PayPal there, and Maureen Price on PayPal as well. So, very kind, very kind. But thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. I don't want to keep having you guys suffer through whatever the hell YouTube's doing. My stream is 100% excellent connection. So, don't know what that is, all right? Don't have any idea. Let's see if we can have if the dogs are doing anything now. Let's see. Blue Chloe, and looks like they're outside. Yeah. Anyways, all right. I want to thank everybody for being here tonight. Sorry for your issues on the internet there. Had nothing to do with my stream though. Just is what it is. So thank you again. Thanks for everybody who was supporting the channel. Appreciate that. We'll see you guys tomorrow. And as I always say, until next time. Till next time, be safe out there. I was trying to get to the right screen. Now I got to take that off.
Yeah, I've been doing this true crime thing for quite a while now. And during this whole time, I have not seen one person that is a crime dissector,
sunspot
protector. I'm a certified human lie detector. Gonna get ya on a stretcher if you try and play me like an old projector. Crime sector is my nectar. Professor Grader's gonna give another lecture. Crime collector, freak connector, and I'm always gonna be a pup protector. Fool deflector,
nice, Logan.
And I'm meaner than a spectre with a
Logan's
vector
Run.
on his spectre. With all respect, y'all, just remember I
That's what you should call yourself, Logan's Run.
I have no agenda, I'm no pretender, and I'll serve it to you straight without the blender. And in the end, I'm gonna send ya on a mission to reveal the true offender. Yeah, so I'll just get right back to work. All right, everybody, talk to you later.
Yeah, you should call yourself Logan's Run. Yeah, that's that movie from a long time ago where the Earth was so populated that eventually, people were sort of selected for dying, so you had to just sort of be incinerated at a certain point. And that was a guy that was trying to escape having that happen to him, I guess. That's what my memory of it is. It's been so long, and I was a little kid when that came out. All right, thanks everybody. Be safe out there.